Hi, this is Editor Troxel. In this tutorial, we're going to continue where the previous one left off and go into part 2. In the last one, we learned how to get individual frames so that we can compare two frames against each other. In this tutorial, we want to actually do the comparison between the frames. And so we will add another routine that compares these two frames and then gives us a percentage difference back. And then we'll look at the log file to see what the percentage difference is on each frame. And then we'll ultimately use that information to determine which section should be cut. So let's take a look at this code. In the last tutorial, we used this routine here to check, to go through all the images, and we had this line here commented out because we weren't using it yet. So now let's uncomment this line and let's get a different result line here. And what we are going to do is we are actually going to get the percent difference by comparing the two images, and we're going to pass it image 1 and image 2, and then we're going to write out the current frame the same as we did last time, but we're also going to write out the difference that we got back to see how different those two images were. So we have to check to see what this routine looks like. So let's go down to this routine. Here's this routine. It's a really fairly small routine, and we're going to compare the images percent is the name of it. We're passing it 2 bitmaps, and the first thing we're going to do is set a difference variable that is of type float to 0. Now we're going to use 2 for loops. The first for loop is going to go through all of the lines of the first image, so image 1 dot height. We're going to go from 0 to the height, and then the second one is going to go through the width of image 1. Now both of them are the same size, so we really don't have to worry about that. So the first thing we're going to do is get the pixel, which is a color, of image 1 by using the getPixel.net command of X and Y, and we're getting that from image 1. Then we're going to get pixel 2 is the same thing, only from image 2. So we're getting the same pixel from both images. Now we're going to add the difference, which is math.absolute value of the red in between pixel 1 and pixel 2, the green between pixel 1 and pixel 2, and the blue between pixel 1 and pixel 2. So we're using the absolute value because we want to make sure that the number that we're adding is positive. We don't know which one of these numbers is bigger. They could be the same number, in which case it would subtract out to be 0. If this one was bigger than this one, then it would be positive anyway. If this one was smaller than this one, then it would be negative. And so by using the absolute value, that will make it positive. So we're getting the difference no matter whether which one is bigger. And then once we've gone through every pixel in the image, this is what we're going to return. 100 times the difference divided by 255, because the color can be anywhere from 0 to 255. And then we're going to divide that by the image width times the image height times 3. Now I will tell you, I got this routine from somewhere else. I didn't write this routine. Right here is where I got that routine. It's on this website, rosettacode.org, and it calculates the percentage difference between two images. So like I said, I did not write this code. I just copied it from their website, so I'm giving them full credit for it. All I did was copy it 100%. So now, when we run this routine here, we're going to get the percent difference, but it is called by that, and we're going to write that to the log file. So now let's save this, run it, and see what happens. So now once again, we pick this little section here. We run the script. And now the script is completed, so we open Notepad, paste, and we can see here the difference between frame 0 and frame 1 was very big. It was 18. The difference between the next two was 0. So that would be one that we wanted to get rid of. The difference between the next two were very big. The next one was very small. The next two were pretty big. 2% is big, 9% is big. The next one was 0, and then we get some that are really small numbers. So the question becomes, where is our threshold between yes, it did change, no, it didn't change? Is one of these ones that we should see if it changed? So let's look at, say, frame 13. And if we look here, you can see that, for example, the cursor is flashing between these two frames, and that could be what the difference was. So we have to determine what threshold we're going to use in the future and determine which one of these get kept and which one of these go away. I believe that all of these will ultimately go away, but we'll have to see what we want our threshold to be. If we go back and look at our original code and go all the way back to the top, you can see I've already set a threshold up here, and I've set it as a float because that's what we're comparing it to, and my threshold I've set at 0.4. Now I tried several different numbers on several different clips, and 0.4 seems to be kind of the magic number. It seems to be, did it really change, or is it just kind of changing? So now we've generated all the images. We've been able to compare the images. We see the percent difference between the images. And so in the next tutorial, we'll expand this even further by adding markers wherever there is a change that we feel is small enough to warrant a deletion. And so we will check that next time. So subscribe so you get notifications when the next tutorial's out. And we'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.